Hello humans, Cubic here to cover some EDM Twitter drama. So if you hadn't heard by now, Getter and Excision are currently beefing on Twitter, and it is some big fucking tea. And you know, I don't know, it's been an entertaining drama, a bit sad because I respect Excision a lot and I love going to his festivals and his shows, but I'm a huge Getter stan. I've loved Getter for years, and I respect what he has to say. So there's my biases laid out on the table. I feel like I can be pretty impartial, although full disclosure, before we get into this, I've found myself a little bit more leaning towards Getter, but I don't know, I haven't picked a side yet. I just want to cover what's gone down today for those of you who've heard about this and are trying to catch up. So if any time throughout this video you find yourself enjoying this content and you want me to do more, definitely leave me a like, subscribe of course, and comment down below if I should continue covering some of the bigger EDM Twitter dramas. I thought this would just be a fun little video to make while I'm currently moving to a new house, so I don't have my full setup all set up anymore. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So today's EDM Twitter drama started with Excision tweeting out a little recap video of Bass Canyon thanking everybody, and Getter quote tweeted it saying, "Damn, you still ripping off Space Laces, man? That shit's sad." And that's when the drama unfolds. Now, I'm going to be covering everything that's come out so far as of 4:41 p.m. on August 26th. So if more comes out, I might cover it based on the reception to this video. And also, apparently there's some beef between Slushy and Marshmallow on the same day. EDM is kind of having its own little like Watergate saga. So yeah, let me know if I should comment on the Slushy and Marshmallow stuff too. But anyways, so starting off, Getter replies to his quote tweet accusing Excision of ripping off Space Laces with a video of Space Laces Voltage 3, his mix full of unreleased tunes, with a timestamp of 2:13, basically saying that it's a complete ripoff of the song at 2:13 and not just a inspiration. And he's kind of having some back and forth in the comments about this. Now, I will show you the comparison in a minute. We're gonna get to a tweet that perfectly shows a comparison, so just bear with me, but I just want to cover a couple things leading up to it, and then you can see what all the drama is really about. So Getter starts responding to people who are responding to his initial tweet. One dude was like, "Bro, what do you mean? Space Laces probably got the bag for spending an hour editing his own track to sell to Excision." Which, yeah, maybe. But Getter says, "LOL, LOL, no, hard no. Space Laces is one of my best friends. For years, I'll play out his new songs. Then sure enough, when the song comes out, it's Excision featuring Space Laces, and nothing has changed. I'm not being a dick and calling him out for no reason, dude. It's been ongoing." And this is an ongoing claim you see throughout this whole saga, is that Getter keeps saying that he would get early versions of Space Laces songs before Excision was added to the collab, in quotes, according to him. But then when it came out on Excision's albums, it would be unchanged, exactly the same. And so he's like, Excision didn't really contribute anything, he's just putting his name on it. And Mackie Dubs here says, "You're basically finally saying the quiet part that most people have had suspicions about out loud," which is kind of true. I mean, I've had suspicions about this. I think most people have. I accepted it as like almost like it's fact, but I still respect Excision. They probably have a good relationship, just like Excision has with some of these other artists like Dion Timmer. So I figure that, you know, they kind of help him out with tracks because he's a busy man. And then he in turn gives them exposure and money in compensation, which is what I assumed goes on. But based on this drama, it seems like Getter is implying that Excision is not giving credit where credit's due, or like fairly treating his best friend Space Laces. And that's what I'm gauging why he's coming out about all this. He's been talking about this for years now, or at least for the past year at various shows and things. So this isn't just coming out of nowhere just instantly. This has been like a long buildup. And you can see all sorts of different artists, like here's Divinity. I saw some stuff about Must Die. Here's a funny one. Someone was a bit savage and was like, "At least bro puts on a good enough show not to get booed off stage," referring to the Visceral tour where Getter got booed off stage because everyone was mad he wasn't playing dubstep. And he was like, "Okay, damn, that was a good one, I'll give it to you." Fair enough. I can respect that Getter can laugh at himself and he's not like so like he's not full of himself or has such a fragile ego where he's gonna like start going off at this guy. you know? I seen it on my timeline, would never have bought tickets. Thought it was sad at first, but now I'm like, he deserved it. You can't just switch up your sound to your core audience like that. Lol. GG. And Getter says, bro's heartbroken that someone is speaking truth on his Lord Excision. And I think that's what a lot of this boils down to in terms of the hate coming at Getter, is just that it's a lot of people who really love Excision. They talk to him like he's their Lord and he's their savior. I mean, literally people in the Excision responses that I'm gonna get to are literally like, oh, thanks Lord Excision, I knew you were, like, unironically. So there's a lot of just like Excision fanboys as well as Getter fanboys. Like there's fanboys on both sides just clashing and being dicks to each other, and I think that's just uncalled for and so extra and unnecessary. Like even the way Getter's bringing it up, yes, it's a little savage, but like he's bringing it up like a valid criticism, that, or at least valid in his eyes, like a genuine, like, hey, why are you doing this to my friend sort of criticism. And then everyone else is dogpiling with just all this extra just insults and toxicity that's just making it like, just let it be between the people it's between, which, I mean, I don't know, they put it on Twitter, so I guess not. And then Getter's like, someone had to do it. Yo, shout out Excision. Oh shit, my bad. I mean, shout out Space Laces. Getter last night, shit was amazing. So this is a callback. I don't know if he's been doing this at multiple shows, but I know earlier in the year, Getter did this at a show in Washington because one of my friends went, and he was like, yeah, Getter said this on the mic, and it was some tea. So I kind of knew about this beef months ago, but I never expected it to like come out like this. Like it seems like Getter's just going mask off, which I guess like he's right. Someone had to do, like, these are things that everybody's talked about in Discord servers and just behind closed doors. So I guess it is nice to kind of see it out in the open and people being forced to address it. So then you can really know like what's going on. Someone said, why do you feel the need to spread so much negative energy? It's literally your entire Twitter feed. And Getter says, sometimes the truth hurts. Sorry, dude, as a premier EDM Twitter, you should be hyped. What happened to the respect in Plur? There's zero respect in using/ripping off artists. And I mean, the man makes a point. Now it's up in the air. Is Excision really using and ripping off artists? I mean, that's gonna be up to you to decide once we get to some of these other tweets. But I do think it's kind of like annoying that people are accusing Getter of like being toxic or being so negative. Now I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but it's like, if your friend, like one of your closest friends, you feel like they're being taken advantage of and being used, and for whatever reason, whether it's an NDA or something else, they aren't standing up for themselves, then it seems like a good, respectable thing to do to stand up for your friend. Now, the way he's doing it, bringing it on Twitter and causing a giant drama in the scene, I don't necessarily know if that's the right way to go about it. It really depends on like what Space Laces thinks about all this, because you don't want to like get your friend into unnecessary drama if they didn't maybe want that. But like, I don't think this is toxic to want to stand up for your friends and try to, like, I don't know, impact the scene to force some growth and some change in the scene. I don't know. Like, I don't view that as toxic and negative. It could be a questionable amount of like involving yourself in things, but I don't know. That's kind of just one of those risks you take if you have something you really believe in that you think is wrong and you want to stand out against it. Like, I can respect that. And more people kind of talk to him about like he's doing this for attention or he's doing this for whatever stupid reasons. And Getter's like, what do you mean, dude? This is the absolute worst thing I could do for my career. I'm 100% gonna lose festival bookings, which is a big chunk of any touring artist's income. But I'm standing up for my homies, so it's worth it to me. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm taken from this as well, as like, this seems like just good intentions, just genuine. I don't see this as like, oh, Getter's clout chasing or he's trying to be relevant again, or like that. This is just such a stupid way to do that if that's his intention, because you're just gonna get half of the dubstep scene hating. Like, he's already alienated his audience because he went from dubstep to like chill music and then kind of shat on dubstep when he switched, and so he's already alienated his audience to that extent. And now he's just calling out one of the biggest artists and definitely the most influential artist in the mainstream dubstep scene with an insane amount of stans. Like, most artists, even artists in this situation right now who agree with Getter and who have problems with Excision, are still keeping their mouths shut and sucking Excision's dick because of how big of an influence and impact he has on the scene. So like, for anyone to come out and start just like later on he just straight up ats Excision. I feel like it's got to be some genuine real shit, either that or he's just misguided. But like I don't think this is like, if this is clout chasing, then he's a horrible clout chaser, because he's just gonna get a fuck ton of hate. Okay, so this person brings up a good point on the topic of ghost produced. If the person is being paid, what's the problem? Is it that your homies aren't being paid enough, or what? Excision hasn't been just Jeff for a long time. It's a whole business/brand. Are the deals not good enough now? And that's a really good question to ask to get a little more insight into the motivations of like where Getter's going with this. So I'm curious to know what Getter says. I see your point. For me, it would depend on an artist's history plus the song. Excision has been in it for a while and he makes $1 bazillion, but you would think he could give young new writers more than just an opener slot, plus pay them a bit more for making his best songs. Just my opinion. And I don't know about Space Lace as being a young new writer. So I don't know if he's alluding to there's other people out there that are also getting fucked over. Definitely though, I agree, like giving them an opening slot, like if I was Excision and Space Laces is responsible, which he is, regardless of how much Excision was involved in them or not, that's kind of still up for speculation. Space Lace's collabs with Excision are some of Excision's best and biggest songs, and I think we can all agree on that. So if I was Excision, Space Laces would be handsomely compensated, and he would be getting like all of the best slots at all of the festivals, because I would owe him like a huge part of my career, you know? So I'm assuming maybe that's not what is really happening. I can't recall like every slot Space Laces has gotten. I will say I do agree with the reply to this. Thanks for the reply and I agree. Well, if it's about money, maybe y'all as a collective can work something out, get paid more, or some solution. Excision as a brand has really pushed the music forward the past 10 years and brought a lot of you guys with him. Gotta be a better way. And as of late, I don't really agree that Excision has pushed the music that forward, but he's definitely pushed the scene forward in terms of establishing more opportunities for artists, and he's definitely brought a lot of people with him. So this is probably the most base tweet we're gonna see of this entire saga, of just like, maybe handle this in private, come up with a solution to just treat people a little better if people aren't being treated fairly enough. There's gotta be a better way than just destroying our entire community over picking, am I team Getter or I'm team Excision? Then someone else is like, you're dope dude, but this ain't it. Just stick to ripping off delinquent habits. Oops, someone had to do it. Now, I don't fucking know who the fuck Delinquent Habits is, and I don't think Getter does either. Here, let's check out a quick clip of Delinquent Habits. Return of the Trace. Oh, okay. I actually totally get the comparison. Okay, but this is just a style of hip hop that Getter does with Tara Reid. So they're saying that Tara Reid is a ripoff of Delinquent Habits, and I can see it, but Tara Reid is also like a ripoff of like Snoop Dogg and Slim Shady and like West Coast hip hop. Like, it's just, Tara Reid isn't like doing something crazy new in the hip hop scene. He's just kind of doing a aesthetic and style of hip hop that's already been established for years, and he's just doing it slightly different in his own way and just doing it in a fun way. Like, whatever, that's a whatever insult. Someone else, and these are the people calling Getter toxic. He should be booed at every show for that shit ass album he just released. An album that's so original, even its album art is a cheap knockoff of Interstellar videos. Oh shit, Getter misread this, and now I misread this. Bro, I don't care about that shit anymore. Get some new ammo. I thought he was talking about Visceral album, but no, he was talking about, oh my god. Okay, this is a bit of a ripoff. It's literally Interstellar visuals. I mean, whatever. A bit weird, like your whole album is kind of a ripoff of it, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that being a ripoff. Either way, that's just an interesting thing to point out. Then we got Dubloads chiming in, saying, one day sooner than later, the mainstream dubstep industry is going to fall like a house of cards. A few people with way too much power have pissed off too many people who are tired of keeping their mouths shut. It's going to be a spectacle unlike anything Twitter's ever seen. Dubload says, by the way, I'm not rooting for this, but it's past due. It's going to be quite a ripple, but I hope from the ashes rises a new era where capitalism doesn't own the industry, at least as much. Yeah, I'm glad he said that, because we live in a capitalist society. I don't think it's really possible for capitalism not to seep into literally every part of our society until, as a collective, we realize the issues with capitalism and alter things. But that's a whole nother rant for a whole nother time. Yeah, fucking seems like Getter has some support from some other OGs who've been in the scene for a while and who've worked with Excision. Definitely a lot of like subtext here, but it's just a little telling to me that there's other artists like Dubloads, and later you'll see Must Die, who have worked with Excision or are still currently working with Excision, who seem to be kind of agreeing with Getter. Then someone else commenting on this whole drama said, guys, just please stop fighting, showing Real Bros to Simi Valley, a fun little comedy show that Getter's a part of. One tweet of the day. But here, let's go ahead and get to like what is really happening with the accusations of Excision ripping off Space Laces. And to sum this part of the drama all up before I show you what this has all been about, Getter says, crazy how another artist finally got the balls to call out this shady ass fool, and y'all are trying to air me out to be the villain. Hating me ain't gonna change the facts. Sorry, bud. Which funny way to state it, but it's true. Like, everybody's kind of just attacking Getter so hard when he was just trying to do like a noble thing. Now, whether the noble thing is like, I don't know, whether it's accurate or not, whether it's what Space Laces really needed to happen, that's kind of up to the people involved to decide, because they have all the full details of everything. We're just speculating. But I don't know, from the outside looking in, seemed like he was trying to do a noble thing, stand up to his friends. So the fact everyone's just so hostile is just kind of fucking, I don't know, just sad to see the community like this. Not gonna lie. Now let's view what the actual ripping off like that's occurring. What's going on here? Just so we're clear, first is the new Excision song. Second is the unreleased Space Laces song. Whoa. Okay, that's insane, and now I don't believe anybody who says that isn't a ripoff. That is so similar. They both have the boom, doom, and even though it's supposed to be like a Wooly collab or something, I'm not 100% sure, but the new Excision song, that shit is just like a stripped down, shittier version of the Space Laces song. I'm sorry to say, but that is definitely, if it's not straight up a ripoff, that is like intensely inspired by that Space Laces song. That is like almost a carbon copy. That's crazy. Like, it's the same flow, same tonality, same arrangement. It's just Space Laces has more going on in the background, and the sounds are brighter and slightly different timbre. That's basically the only real difference between these songs. That's wild. Anyways, someone was like, wait till y'all find out who originally made Rumble. And Getter's like, Rumble, one-on-one, throwing elbows, every Destroyed song. Now that's a big fucking claim right there. List goes on. Now he gets other ghostwriters to rip off unreleased Space Laces songs, and I'm sure it's so he can pay them even less. Now, a lot of big accusations being put here, and I don't know. I feel like Getter probably knows better than most of us, because he's in the scene at a similar level as guys like Space Laces and Excision. and he's best friends with Space Laces, and he's worked with Excision, so I'm sure he has more insight into all of this than us, which is why I think it's stupid that a lot of people, including myself, are commenting so much on these things with such like intensity and passion and certainty of like what you're saying is the correct take, because none of us really fucking know. We're all just assuming things based on our parasocial relationships with these artists. So someone asks, am I missing something about one-on-one, Rumble, and Throwing Elbows? Space Laces is credited on all of those as a collaboration. Getter says, well, let me put it this way. I got very early versions of all 3 of those songs, was playing them out for ages. When they came out, Excision's name was first and nothing was different. I'm sure you can find old Moonrise vids of me opening with one-on-one. So next, Getter retweets himself in 2017 saying, dude, Excision is by far the most all-around consistent artist. I will always look up to him. Oh my god, and Excision commented with a heart and a prayer sign, right? And at first glance, I'm like, well, this is a bit contradictory, until you see that this was an April Fool's joke, and I don't think Excision actually noticed. Hence this, does he know? Oh no. That is... oh no. So yeah, this kind of shows Getter's been on this wave for a while, and it's been a long build-up, and it's just finally coming out now. He's finally had enough of it. But then Getter says, nah, to be real though, I think this was before I knew any of that shit. Keep in mind, I was a fan of the music just like y'all before I started touring. A lot of shit can change in 5 years. Okay, so now I'm confused because that was an April Fool's joke, but maybe now it wasn't. I don't fucking know anymore. Either way, now this feels like a pointless thing to show you guys, but whatever. We got a little chuckle out of it. Now we got Big Boy Must Die getting involved, saying people who don't write their own music and pass off others' hard work as their own and accept praise for it are shit tier and don't have my respect. Which, then I do question this. So if you feel this way about X, why are you always on his lineups? Which is both telling, because Must Die is on his lineups and works with Excision. So the fact that he's saying this and that he has the balls to say this, I don't know, it seems like it's probably some true shit. Oh, fuck. So yeah, people are arguing about Must Die now, involving that, right? But then down here, someone says, can Space Laces say something? Which, yes, I agree. But now we have Space Laces here has updated his bio to say, I don't want to talk about it. Which, fair enough, man. I wouldn't know what to do because I feel like he's probably a bit loyal to both sides of this argument. Like, I'm sure it's somewhere more in the middle where he still respects Excision and everything he's done for him, but also Getter's his best friend, and maybe Getter's spitting some facts, but then also he's not trying to start this whole drama. I don't know. I'm just speculating about Space Laces because he doesn't want to talk about it. That's the one issue here, is that Space Laces, I think, could clear up a lot of this, but we don't know what NDAs he's signed, what he's allowed to say, what he isn't, and so I think he just doesn't want to be involved in this, which is pretty fair. I don't think I would want to either. It's pretty dramatic. Then we got someone else pointing out, Getter just showed y'all the tip of the iceberg, by the way, which, yep, that's what I'm assuming. There's no way they're saying everything that he knows, because I'm sure there's more industry behind the closed doors, behind the scenes shit. So after a couple hours of this drama going on with thousands of likes and retweets to the point it's trending on Twitter. Sorry, I just got distracted by Skrillex trending. Oh my god. Oh, yep. Skrillex is just getting dragged into this entire thing. It's the fucking terror squad. Shit, oh my god, that's amazing. Anyways, Excision finally responded. So we got Excision with a 6-part response saying, every track I've made with Space Laces lists him as a full collab artist, not a feature. We've worked together for years, and he's been to my place and worked with me in my studio many times, and I've been to his home in Louisville to work with him. 2 out of 6. The Destroyed album is entirely a collab album except for 2 solo songs, one made by me and one made by Downlink. Space Laces was a collaborator on 5 of the 10 tracks. It's pretty obvious he was not on the other 5 tracks. They sound nothing like him. I don't remember these tracks off the top of my head, so I can't really tell, but 3 out of 6 Space Laces is an absolute legend who is amazingly talented at creating unique sounds. If you listen to the Getter track with him Choppas, it sounds like Space Laces. Space Laces sounds will dominate any collab he makes because they're dope as fuck. That is the main statement of all of these that I can like definitely agree with and see as just factual, because it's a great point. Although Getter claims that he has the versions of these songs before Excision ever touched them and then after, and they're the same thing. So that's kind of up to if Getter's lying or full of shit or not, which I don't. Obviously Excision has way more incentive to lie in this scenario than Getter. I don't understand why Getter would just start all this beef with like not even real facts, you know? That would just be insanely stupid, and I don't think he's insanely stupid. So unless he's on some Kanye West shit going through like a manic episode, that's where I'm kind of torn. Then we got Titans. The song in question is a collab between Wooly and I, the title track of our EP, Titans, entirely made in my studio. Our inspiration for this track was Mirror, my collab with Dion from 2016. Both Titans and Mirror are 128 BPM house tracks that go half time. Okay, so I don't see that as relevant. The BPM, that doesn't really change. It would mean you're ripping it off at a slower tempo. I don't even know what the tempo of the original one is. I'm gonna look up Mirror in a second to see how similar it is to Mirror, but also claiming entirely made in my studio, that doesn't really mean anything in terms of like who worked on what, because okay, yeah, it was made in your studio, but it doesn't mean that you were like actually working on it. So that's kind of just like, it could just be an overlooked statement, like just not the best statement, or it could be like a corporate doublespeak statement where it's like vague enough where he's not really lying, but he's not really like making the point he's trying to make, but it can, you guys get what I mean. Then finally we got to put this all to bed. Space Laces has never ghost produced for me. He's been given full credit as a collaborator in every track he's worked on. We have more collabs on the way that I played at Bass Canyon, and we're stoked to share with you all soon. That part is a little weird because he kind of turned it into like promo, but whatever. And then we got, I guess, the 6 out of 6, which is for the haters, and this is where shit gets a tad bit cringe and like just like, I don't know, making light of this drama in a little bit of a weird sort of, I don't know, just a little bit of a weird way. Like this kind of rubbed me wrong. I can't tell exactly why, but at the same time, I guess it's dope. Like Excision has a personality and you get a little bit of his sense of humor, I guess, and we also get a little like behind the scenes on those old school bass cannon vocals.
On Twitter, maybe get your facts straight before you talk shit. Now go back under that bridge you crawled out from.
So, I don't know. It's just fucking, I don't know. It's funny. It's interesting. My boy 12K said, so that's where the Excision vocal samples come from. And someone else is like, Getter's still gonna find a way to say that Space Laces made this video. I mean, that's a stupid response, but I get it. Divinity's like, what's the vocal chain though? So, and then we do have one really savage comment responding to this. Necron Bryn is saying, I think the most bold thing you've done is state implicitly that you've fallen off from a production standpoint completely on your own. It takes incredible guts to be aware that you're just trend hopping with Britam. For that, you have a massive amount of respect for me. Now that's like an insanely backhanded comment. Let me know if you agree with that down below or not. But yeah, just a really savage response. Anyways, let's see what Getter replied to these, because the drama doesn't end here. Getter did respond to all of these, starting with his response to the final statement to put all this to bed, blah, 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 blah. Getter says, bro, that's fucking bullshit. Come on, be straight up with people right now. And the comparison video. You said it's you and qbikmusik, right? And he fucking tagged Wooly. So if you and Space Laces are such great friends, why the fuck didn't you change the song? Or better yet, tell Wooly to. I bet this ain't even you tweeting right now. I mean, that's a little bit of a stretch. I don't know. I would assume he's tweeting at this point, but maybe he has a massive team and he's not wanting to handle this. I don't know. But now Woolie's getting dragged into this, and I believe Woolie responds later on. Yep, Woolie responds, getting tagged in some wild things today. Just want to say that all of the Excision X Woolie songs have been made together either in his studio in Canada or over Zoom, and usually always ends with me trying to convince him Ableton over FL Studio, even though he makes dope sounds in FL. Now, I first off want to say I agree with that statement. Fuck FL Studio, Ableton gang for life. Second, it's another just kind of, you gotta take Woolie as word. Also, Woolie has incentive. Like, why is he gonna like shit on the guy he's about to have a whole collab EP with, who also helped really bring up his career? So that's where things, it's kind of just like, are these the good people we think they are, or are they all lying to protect their money and their reputation? You know, we don't really know. And that's the tough part about this whole thing, is like, until Space Laces himself talks about his experience, I mean, we just don't really know who's telling the truth here. Again, we made it together in his studio or on Zoom, and I'm trying to convince him this and that. Like, it doesn't really say whether, like, how much input Excision has in these songs, like what he's doing. Like, maybe they're just on Zoom and he's showing him the song and Excision's like, yeah, this is good enough for me. Like, keep it going, maybe change the kick. Like, I don't know. We don't fucking know. But here's what Woolie said. Next, Getter responds to the first claim. Every track I made with Space Lace is listed as a full collab artist, not a feature. We've worked together many years, blah, blah, blah. Getter says, you're lying, my dude. What was the royalty split for one-on-one or throwing elbows? And why is it that I have early versions before you guys collaborated that sound the same as the one on your albums? So, yeah, this shit is fucking, it's, Getter's starting to like kind of let on to some more knowledge that we might not have about this. It sounds, by the tone of this, although it is Twitter and it's text, so I don't know the tone of it completely, but he's saying it sounds like he's implying that he knows the royalty split on these songs, and he knows that it's not a 50-50 full collab deal, and maybe Space Laces is getting a little fucked over, especially based on how much of the work Space Laces did in these songs. That's what I'm taking, reading between the lines of this tweet. And I don't know, I'm pretty confident that's what he's basically saying, and he's telling Excision maybe fucking tell the truth and share what the royalty split was. So we'll see if Excision responds to that. Then we got idiots like this dude being like, you lost, bud, ha 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 ha. And then someone says, average showgoer, please shut up. So yeah, I don't know, I don't think he lost. I think it's still ongoing, and I think these are valid questions based on the insight that it seems like Getter has. So I'm glad that Getter responded, and hopefully maybe more will come out that we can just freaking know what's really going on here. Getter then responds to 3 out of 6, where Excision talks about Space Laces dominates every collab. Getter says, but me and Ian don't have NDAs, my confused dinosaur friend. Also, why is my inbox filling up with other artists thanking me for finally calling you out? It's almost like the artists know the real situations and your fans only know what you put on. And that's a really solid point, I think, about this whole thing, including people like me. I'm making a video about this. I'm trying to be impartial and just show you what's going on Twitter, but none of us fucking know. We're not the artists that are involved in the behind the scenes of these industry like deals, and like these are big artists. There's millions of dollars being thrown around here. Excision makes millions of dollars. The people Excision works with makes millions of dollars. These other artists make millions of dollars. Like, this is like some big business shit that we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. We're not big touring artists who work with Excision and collab with Excision. So that's the biggest thing about this drama that's really annoying, is just like a bunch of fucking normies and people like us who don't know what we're talking about are sitting here like, oh, Getter won, Excision won, oh, Excision, I knew you were always right, oh, Getter, yeah, fuck Excision, he's a piece of shit, I know you're right. Like, none of us really fucking know. Only the people involved know. So I'm trying to just like enjoy the drama as entertainment and you know, go with what my gut and logic is telling me, but at the end of the day, I don't really fucking know until some real shit comes out, until like Space Laces breaks an NDA and just fucking tells us what the deal is, you know? Until something like that happens, it's kind of just whose team are you on? And then Getter responds to the For the Haters saying, that's a big yikes, tight Oakleys though. And yeah, not gonna lie, those are tight Oakleys. He is spitting facts there. Big yikes, I don't know, it was a little yikes, not quite a big yikes, but these fucking, the big yikes is tweets like this. Dude looks like he makes beating his wife a weekly tradition. Like, you have time to delete this one. Yeah, it's like people are being so toxic and so just adding extra fuel to the fire that's just pointless. You're just like, you're adding negativity. Like, even if you're team Getter, why are you just gonna shit on Excision like that? That's such just like a dickish fucking unnecessary insult to say. It's just pointless. And the fact 27 people like this is just stupid. It's just really stupid and kind of embarrassing for the scene that people get behind shit like that. All right, real quick before I finish this off, this is ending up to be way longer than I expected. I'm just gonna see what else Getter commented on this. Everyone's still asking me for proof. It's still right here. I ain't taking that shit back. I knew I wasn't gonna win this one. I got nothing to promote. There's no hidden meaning or shit like that. Just standing up for my friend plus the others, because no one else will. I commend that. This is the biggest thing that makes me doubt the things Excision and some of these other artists are saying, is Getter has the most to lose in this situation, and he obviously, I don't think he's trying to gain anything. I don't see what there is to gain other than a bunch of hate and a bunch more fans that now are gonna boo Getter next time he plays a show. So I just, like, why would he be lying about this stuff? And I think if Getter was completely in the wrong, I think Space Laces would also kind of be disavowing some of the things Getter is saying. I think the fact that Space Laces is kind of just keeping silent kind of tells me it's probably some truth to both sides, and he doesn't want to fuck with Excision, but he also doesn't want to fuck with Getter. Getter says also, this will stay a problem unless more artists speak up. Just saying, if you texted me / messaged me in support, now's the time to speak up. Otherwise, nothing will change. Naughty Step says, what's the exact thing that needs changing? Honestly, I feel like it's pretty obvious, but it's artists being used and these sorts of things being kept secret by people who have lots of power and lots of influence, and then they can silence others. And I don't know, it's just kind of like, I think if you are like Excision level or Tiesto level, or I'm using Tiesto because Tiesto is another example of an artist who's really big, really busy, and so they co-produce in quotation marks, or they have ghost producers, and it's like, just be transparent about it. Honestly, just be like, Excision's a brand and I sometimes need help getting music out. I commission the help of my friends and then I compensate them for their help. I think stuff like that would just, then we wouldn't have any of this drama. And I think the other thing that needs to change that Getter's talking about is just like the way, I don't even think ghost production is a real issue, especially if you're transparent about it. I think it's more how you're treating the ghost producers, like in this instance, Space Laces, although Excision says he's not ghost produced, so those are all allegations. And then we got a perfect example of the issue here. We got people arguing about why are they still releasing tracks then together, and then they're talking about contracts and speculating, and Getter comes in and says right here, bro, this is how conspiracy and shit starts. Y'all are literally making shit up so it fits in your head. No one told me to do it. I see this shit from my angle. I stand up for my homie regardless, plain and simple. Excision and Wooly ripped off Space Lace's unreleased track and lied about it. And yeah, I think that's like a pretty good statement to close on. There is a little bit more, so I'll read it real quick, but that's a good statement to close on in terms of like, this is, I think, the main reason Getter spoke out, and the main issue Getter has is the fact that they ripped off Space Laces. I think these other things are maybe smaller issues that have built up that are maybe a little more open to interpretation based on Getter, how he sees it, versus maybe how Space Laces sees it. Someone said, no one's mad at Getter, but if you're going to be talking mad shit and saying you got the receipts, it's time to show them. Like, Space Laces can't say anything but Getter wants to start this, then drop him, show us wrong. Getter said, I would post other shit in a second if I didn't think it would potentially get my homie in trouble legally. Why the fuck would I make this shit up? What do I have to gain from it? Because I'm 100% losing festival bookings because of this, and I don't give two fucks. And that kind of sums up my thoughts on this, is like, there's gotta be more we don't know, because why would Getter just do, like, this is like career suicide. I think Getter's big enough and he's disconnected from the dubstep scene enough that he's gonna be fine. He's just gonna lose out on some big bookings, maybe forever, and that part sucks, and I'm sure he's gonna lose money, but I think he's still gonna have like a career. But this is, so it's not full career suicide, but it's like you're just causing yourself a bunch of problems and you're gonna lose a lot of money. Someone else said, you're jealous, bro, just say that. And he's like, fuck no, I write all my own shit. And I don't see this as a jealousy thing. Getter's a huge brand. He obviously doesn't want really to be a part of the dubstep scene like he used to be anymore. Like, I think he's probably good. Like, he has his own shit going for him. He says, if you're an artist who read this shitstorm and know the truth but aren't speaking up, you're just as bad as Dr. Dino. And I'm assuming Dr. Dino is Excision. Dr. Dino. I don't know if they're just as bad as Dr. Dino. I think, especially if you're a smaller artist, you're not as, like Getter, like I said, Getter can survive this and be okay. People smaller than Getter, people smaller than Wooly, people smaller than Space Laces, are gonna lose a lot more if they speak out about this. And although it would be nice if they did, I totally understand people not wanting to speak out about this. I was sketched out just making this video. And then to end things off, Getter says, and qbikmusik, you're a punk for allowing that shit as well. Blown away that you of all people would let that happen. And I don't know what to think about that. It's just really sad. I respected all these artists, looked up to all these artists in one way or another, and now they're all kind of fighting each other. And it seems like Getter wouldn't have expected that, because sounds like he respects Wooly, and I think a lot of people respect Wooly, so that also adds a little more validity to what Wooly said. Maybe, I don't know. Hello, this is Future Qbik editing this video, and I've got breaking news. Speaking of Wooly has responded with a pretty huge update to this whole drama that really changes some things. So Wooly says, gonna leave it at this. Had a talk with Getter and even showed him the final version of that song. He even agreed it doesn't sound like Space Laces. He knows I had to say goodbye to my dad this week, who's about to pass away. I got more important shit than getting dragged into messy EDM drama. So obviously very sad to hear about his dad. My condolences go out to Wooly. I know that can be hard. But in regards to the drama, we got Getter here saying, but I agree, the new version is a lot different. Had he used that in his vid, this wouldn't even be on the table. So, a little upsetting to see that this whole drama was a little bit unnecessary, although it doesn't really change, like the music that was uploaded, that's what this is all about, but I guess the newer version is different. So I guess that's good. It's a somewhat half-solved drama now. And Wooly said, I didn't want this to get personal. I'm fucking overwhelmed. Just leave me out of this shit for real. Then later, 2 hours later, which I can respect this, he comments again, please don't use this as an excuse to now turn on Getter. I still respect him as an artist. He is extremely talented. I think it's just misguided frustration. I have love for everyone, including the amazing community reaching out when your boy is hurting. I honestly am grateful for you. That's a really good way to wrap things up, although there is a couple more people that got themselves involved that I think you might be interested to hear. But yeah, I feel like maybe this is some misguided frustration, although there's still the Space Laces collab, and how much of a collab it really is in question. But real quick, Sullivan King has also chimed in, just kind of backing up Excision and Wooly, or I guess he said this earlier, but again, we don't really know. But I'm taking Sullivan King at his word. He says, X and I have multiple songs released and tons more on the way, and every single one of them has been more than an equal contribution musically and creatively. Hours on FaceTime and Zoom, writing, etc. Never have I witnessed otherwise, and I'm insanely proud of our work together. It comes off as a really genuine tweet. I'm inclined to believe it, but there's also the other shit Getter said, so I don't know. I feel like I really want to hear from Space Laces to really put this to bed. this idea that Excision is being ghost produced. And then someone else brings up a good point down here. Solely, as much as I genuinely love and respect you, your name has been out for a long time. You're in no way what I consider an up and coming artist. I think that has a lot to do with it. Smaller artists get taken advantage of. And then this person talks about, I don't know if that applies because Space Laces has been in the game longer than Sullivan. I think that's kind of a whole new issue and new set of accusations, which Getter somewhat alluded to, but didn't really make clear, so I don't want to assume anything. But that would imply that Excision is taking advantage of smaller artists, which that's a whole, I think, new conversation to have that I'm not going to be the one to start. So yeah, we'll go ahead and move past that. Then we just got two other people who chimed in. So we got Cray, Keizo's girlfriend, and she's also an artist on her own, coming out and saying, I've said it once and I'll say it again. You do not know your favorite artist / creator's character from just following them on social media. You only know exactly what they want you to know. You are only seeing what they want you to see. Some of y'all need to eat some popcorn and chill the fuck out. I've said this kind of shit before, not hinting at shit. I'm saying stop idolizing people you don't know and expecting them to be the person you think they are. You decide who you support and who you don't. Just don't put them on a pedestal. And yeah, that pretty much sums up a big part of the issue with all of this drama and the discourse. Also, she says, defending your fave when you have no idea who they are is goofy. I know it sucks so bad to be disappointed when your fave turns out to be someone shitty. It's happened to me many times. Gotta take social media with a grain of salt and trust your gut. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And that's kind of the mentality I go about in any online controversy with anyone, regardless of what industry or whatever. It's just kind of like, we don't fucking know these people. You just know what they put out for you to know on the internet. And when there's a lot of smoke, usually there's fire. Like when there's a million people accusing someone of the same thing, it's not very likely that they're all just lying and clout chasing. That usually means there's a pattern of behavior and this person is on some fuck shit, you know? Obviously that's not the case in this situation. Before we leave Twitter for the final person who commented on this, fucking Squanto rose from the sewers to comment on this beef. We'll get to that in a second, but Getter provides some insight on if we'd ever get an Excision or Getter collab, because Smooth said, fuck the beef, can we get a collab? Which honestly, that would be a great way to just put this drama aside and like move on. But Getter said, funny, we did a few shows together a while ago. I told him we should make a track and he told me I wasn't ready, which that's just, if that's really happened, that's just kind of ridiculous. Getter isn't ready, but I mean, I don't know, just a weird little side fact, I guess, something that happened between them. So I don't know, maybe this weird rivalry or whatever has been brewing for a while, who knows? Oh God. And then Getter retweeted Figure, who said, someone on Twitter is full on lying and someone else is telling the absolute truth. And then Figure again said, which that's a big part of the issue. It's like, who's fucking lying? Who's telling the truth? And then Figure says, if what is, like 2 hours later, if what is being said isn't valid, what would Getter have to benefit from this? There's no personal gain from this type of thing. The question is, do you care enough to truly look at it, or are you so wrapped up in the package you were sold that much you can't dare question it? And that's kind of where I am on this. It's just like, I don't understand why Getter would lie about this. The only way I can see this working out where everyone's telling the truth is that Getter, there's been some sort of miscommunication or misunderstanding with what Getter understands about things that happen with Space Laces. But I just don't, I feel like he wouldn't go this hard if he wasn't confident he knew what the fuck is up. So I don't know. This is such a tough little drama. So as promised, let's see what Squanto had to say about this whole thing. Imagine hating on a guy who arguably has done the absolute most for the dubstep scene as a whole, is OG as fuck, platforms countless amazing underground artists, is responsible for hundreds and thousands of people's lives at his events every year, also makes those events some of the best in the entire world by leaps and bounds, and is also genuinely a super nice guy. Couldn't be me. I mean, I don't know, weird to just come back to Dick Ride Excision. of all the things to bring Squanto back. I don't know. Fucking Squanto's irrelevant. I'm sorry, but just Squanto's irrelevant, and I feel like his input on this whole situation is just so meaningless at this point. I mean, and I don't fully agree with these. Yes, he has done a lot for the dubstep scene. He is OG as fuck, and he has platformed countless underground artists. Whether they're amazing or not is subjective, and he is responsible for hundreds of thousands of lives at his events each year, but making some of them the best in the entire world. I mean, they definitely have their flaws. I wouldn't say by leaps and bounds they're the best in the entire world, and I don't know, none of us really know if he's a genuinely super nice guy. He does seem that way though. I don't know, I'm nitpicking, but just it's just such a weird, this is what brings Squanto out of retirement or whatever he's doing. And then we'll wrap things up with a meme. I'm not gonna lie, I thought about this too, because Getter's called G now, and so Getter's the top G because Andrew Tate was banned from everything. So we got a new top G. He's got all the Bugattis, but yeah. Okay, I'll send it back to past Cubic. But yeah, sad day for EDM Twitter. Also a very entertaining day for EDM Twitter. Let me know if I should cover the Marshmallow drama. I don't know what's happened with that, but I'm really curious to know now. So let me know. And yeah, let me know if you like this content. Should I do more of this? Should I never do this again? I don't know. This is a weird experiment to see how it goes. Kind of fun though. So hope you guys enjoyed it.